Hi guys, welcome back to another video by mykayaplus. So today we are going to go into an interesting topic where sometimes, I don't know about you, Chumbing, but sometimes like me, I would want to find out like how well to do am I, right? So we've talked about investing, we talk about retirement planning, and we also know that there's this some sort of like a goal, right? You need at least 1 million to at least retire relatively comfortably, not well to do, but okay enough for the rest of your life. So I think we talk about that in separate video why the rough benchmark of the 1 million comes to play. So we'll include the links to the video. But put that aside, maybe we want to gauge, like there are so many like peers with friends, right, and even other people. So what is your current status or current progress compared to the general public? Do you actually think about that, Chumbing? Because for me, I do think about that, and sometimes I do feel scared if I think that I am behind the curve. But I don't know what you think about yourself.
I mean, it's always good that you compare with your peers, and then it can be a good form of motivation, or you can see it as a source of stress, right? But anyway,
Yeah.
The reason why we have this topic today is we came across this website. It's not new, but it's only released this year. If you guys are interested, the link itself is called data.gov.my. It's a super interesting data website that offered by the government of Malaysia. And then within these particular portals, one interesting thing is you can find out the income distribution. And the data itself is not from some random sources. It's basically coming from LHDN. And of course, if you have time, there are a couple more of the dashboard that is quite interesting. Like for example, which car is more popular. You guys can go into it. But today's one, we will focus into talking about where do you stand if you want to compare yourself with the rest. And then the finding here, I would say, is kind of a little bit shocking to me. But then this is the actual data being tabulated. So what does it mean is when you go into this particular section, basically you can put in any so-called annual income, and then choose the different types. Let's say filtered by specific age group, and then you will know where are you positioned at. And then I believe this is how typically people derive the so-called D20, B40, or M40, right? So I think Japan, maybe I need to do a quick guess. How many annual income you will need to basically beat 50% of the Malaysian who is a taxpayer?
Well, that's a very good and interesting question. On the top of my head, probably I can think of you might need to have 5,000 ringgit to qualify for at least the median, the halfway point. So does that actually is that actually the correct answer?
No, I think I don't know. Let's check. But then one of the key things is when you do the checking, there's one thing called assessment type that is basically you can select be it you wanted to filter by solo assessment, meaning is just your solo income compared against the rest versus a joint assessment. So joint assessment probably is slightly more accurate because typically in the news you will see households income. So basically joint assessment represent the husband and wife, for example. So you talk about 5,000, right? So 5,000, let's say times 12 months is 60,000 per year. So let's see what is the number. Yeah, you are about right. If we're talking about combined income for husband and wife, for 60,000 annual income before tax, you're already at 50% if you compare against the remaining taxpayer. So you think of it like a fresh grad that people are making noise. They wanted to have an entry salary that 4,000. A lot of people ask for it 3,000 or whatever not. But just take this as an actual example. 5,000 per month for joint assessment, husband and wife is already making you the top 50 of Malaysia. So it's a bit shocking to me. I was expecting the number was slightly higher, but that made me to put in a lot more gas. So what does it mean? So let's say we talk about fresh grad that's trying to get an entry job of, let's say, 3,000 per month. So how much do they stand, right? In this case, usually they are alone, they haven't got married. So 3K is about 36. 3K times 12 months, right? So where do you stand? So imagine if you're a fresh grad, you get a 3,000 monthly income, you're already the top 63% of the taxpayer, very close to the B40. Very close for you to actually go to the M40 ban. So it's quite shocking. But this thing you can go round and round and round. But maybe you might want to give a guess. How much income do you need to become a T20?
Whoa, this is another good question. I think if we were to talk about living standards in Klang Valley, to live comfortably and to qualify for the category of T20, probably my guess would be joint assessment. Husband and wife, both together, probably around 12K a month. So 12 times 12 will be 144K. So that would be my guess. So let's see how close or how far am I.
Oh, it's already top 10. So 12,000 a month for joint assessment, husband and wife
so
is already
top 10.
Yes. So all this number, we won't go through the whole thing, but this is just how you can compare yourself against the remaining Malaysian, right? Then we try to seek for professional advice, right? So there's another interesting link that if you didn't came across this thing, you should check it out. It's a so-called belanjawan or the budget recommended by EPF. And then they have basically chosen different cities and they give you a recommendation. So let's use this thing and compare against the data. So I mean, me myself, stay in KL. I will just use Klang Valley as an example. So you can see they basically cover even go up to the East Malaysia. So for Klang Valley, right? Let's say we talk about a married couple without children. You need 4,630 as a monthly income based on the recommended budget. So in this case, right, 4,630 times 12, 55,000 for example, right? So let's see where do we stand. In order for you to live based on the recommended budget in Klang Valley, you already need to be in this band, top 55% of taxpayer. So now I can understand why a lot of my friends, or you can see a lot of news that people are trying to stay away from getting married. Probably the stress level is very, very high. I don't know about you, Chupan, but this is just how scary it is, even based on the recommendation. But it didn't gel with the actual data that being pulled out from LHDN, which is the taxpayer numbers. So after seeing this number, what is your feeling about it?
I think there are two sides of a coin, right? Of course, I believe that Belanjawan Cool research does comes with a little bit of backing and data. But I think if you were to ask the general public, 4630 for a married couple is a bit on the very low side, if you were to ask for my honest opinion, because at the end of the day, I mean, we are all aware of the living expenses in KL, right? So you need to drive most of the time. That is a cost, and even if you own a house there, you also need to have a monthly commitment in terms of the mortgage, and of course, food is not cheap compared to other parts of Malaysia. Like for example, from our hometown Taiping, I still think that prices of food is still, I wouldn't say cheap as 20 years ago, but it's still reasonable, right, compared to what prices that you are paying in KL right now. So, of course, yeah, if you look at the budget that has been recommended, 960 for food, if you divide it by 30 days, right? So actually, there isn't much room in terms of budgeting just for food. So it's going to be a very tight budget, in my opinion, right? So I don't know about you, but for someone who has been living in KL for the past so many years, what are your thoughts if you look at this kind of budget? Can you actually make things work with this budget?
Yeah, so because of that, I also jump into a specific category, which is so-called the senior citizen to live in Klang Valley. We are saying you need about, if let's say we just take single, right, you need about 2,500 per month for you to live based on the budget. So what is this 2,500? What's the breakdown of this 2,500? There are some number here: votes, housing, transportation, and so on. If let's say we just use 2,500, if let's say you're going to retire as a single times 12, you need about 30,000 per year. So imagine you retired, let's say at the age of 65, and you expect to live for another 10 years. For example, 10 years. And make it very conservative. You need to times another 10 years, meaning for you to live in KL based on the recommended budget, you need at least 300,000 of saving. 300,000. Then goes to another interesting finding. So this is the link that I will put inside the description. It's a report shared by EPF in the year of 2022. So as of 31st of December 2022, they have these reports. So what this report basically covered, there are a couple of things, but the key thing they cover is they are trying to give you an insight of the dividend chart and so on, but this is not the focus of the day. The focus of the day is we want to zoom into what is the saving level of the EPF member, let's say by age group. So I talk about the guy that going to retire at age of 65, and then he needs about 300,000 to live for another 10 years. Based on the stats, if you go into 65 and above, of course, there are some things you need to take into consideration. By certain age, you can take out the money. So maybe we don't use this group. We use 60 to 64. 60 to 64, this is the list of numbers. So what all these numbers represent, to make it simpler, so the first column is the age group. This is just a number of the members. The key thing that we wanted to look into it is what is the average saving, but the more accurate one is the median saving. So if you guys are not familiar, what is the difference between average and median? Is basically average is summation of all the saving owned by the members within the particular groups, and then divide by the total members. So let's say you got 1 million, and then you got 100 people, you just divide by hundreds. But this may not be the correct representation, so you should use median. So median is basically you put in all the number, all the saving from left to right. You take the median number. So it's a better representation in that way. And we look into this number. 60 to 64, the median, meaning that the guy in between, the average, the general publics, they only have about 8,000 ringgit saving in EPF. Assuming they got personal saving, let's say 4 times, 8 times 5 is 40,000. So it's nowhere near to the 300,000 that are mentioned by me just now. So very, very far away. So this is some of the number that is a bit worrying based on the actual stats. And then of course you can zoom inside further what is the different breakdown by races and so on. And interestingly, they also got this so-called saving level by different classes, B40, M40, and T20. This is even worse because if I zoom into B40, the median saving is not even 1,000, right? So this is all the number. We'll share all the link for you to check it out. But I think I just wanted to have some discussion with Japan's. We know about all these stats. It can be scary at the same time. What should we really do to get ourselves ready of retirement? I mean, Japan, maybe you can share a few things before I chip in to cover it.
Yeah, I think when we look through the the median and average savings of Malaysians inside for their EPF, I think it's very shocking. It's in a way for me unacceptable. If assumption that Malaysians are actually going to rely fully heavily on their EPF for their retirement. So if that's the case and that is the amount you only have in your EPF account, then that, of course it doesn't make sense. The math doesn't make sense, and there is no way for Malaysians to retire by the age of 60 and have that amount of savings for them to live happily until the age of 75, which is just a projection, right? But on the flip side, if Malaysians do have alternative investments outside of their EPF, so be it properties, be it stocks, or be it other investment plans, of course, the end goal still remains the same. You still need around 300,000. By the way, that is just a very basic number. That does not even take inflation into consideration. So it's just a very basic assumption. Probably you need more than that. But collectively, you need to have 300,000 by the age of 65, right? So you need to do backward calculation. So by 65, if I were to achieve 300,000, how much do I need to save, and how much would my interest and investment returns would compound if I am at my current age, say for example 30. So you need to do the calculations and see whether the maths makes sense or not. Over here in Singapore, I think the savings rates are much more better, and I think if you look at the data also provided by the CPF board, and also from general sentiments I get talking to Singaporeans and also the forums, they do have a lot of emphasis in their CPF savings. So it's a thing where they want to get 1 million inside their CPF to ensure that they hit certain retirement comfort, right? So, but if you see the flip side, and coming from both worlds where I've seen EPF numbers and also CPF numbers, it's a bit worrying for me. And we also talk about the median income and also the average income. These all need to jive together so that each and every one of us get to enjoy the retirement life that we want. So if it's not there in the EPF, then it has to come from somewhere, be it from your personal investing or other kinds of methods, right? So that is just my thought. I don't know, but what do you think, Juming?
I mean, it's good that you do this kind of exercise to know where exactly you are. You may feel a little bit comforting because you are not that bad compared to the rest. But then what we wanted to share today is EPS is one form of saving that you can use to plan for retirement. And they are number for you to take it as a reference to begin with, because I think we used to have a video to talk about what is the number of money you need for retirement and so on. I will share all those links inside these videos. But then the key thing is, based on the recommended budget by EPF, you can zoom into a different city, Ipoh, and so on. So I think that the whole Belanjawan cover quite a bit of stuff. You just use that number as a starting and take what age you wanted to retire. So let's say 65, and how many years you plan to live, for example. So you know what is the number you need to hit then you need to work backward. And this is the reason why we are saying all these things can be done by saving, be it in ETF or whatnot. But ultimately, all these things is depreciating because it's in cash. ETF will give you some sort of return, but you need some other asset class that can give you something that can beat the inflation. So that's why investment or investing come into play. This is something that we always advocate. But ultimately, we hope today's video give you some insight. There's some good data website for you to play around. Good reference provided by EPF. I think if you don't have any plan to deal with retirement, and you never have the plan to do it, I will advise you to start. It's better to start now to start later. So maybe 5 to 10 years later, you appreciate the action you have taken, let's say today, to plan for retirement. It's definitely easier to accumulate whatever you need earlier. Yeah. I think that's all from me today. Jupan, you have anything to add before we just post the video?
Nope. I think I hope this video serves as a wake-up call and a reminder that yeah, it's always the best time to always invest and plan for retirement was yesterday, but the second best time is always now, right? So I think ever since I started investing, this has been my kind of reminder. Like every time when I go through my portfolio and every time when I think about it, it always will give me a reminder that, okay, by what age, what's my milestone to be achieved? And every year I will track to see whether I'm on track or not. So I think the same should apply as well, because we don't want to, reach a stage where we think that we don't have enough time to catch up or to achieve what we want to achieve. So that's it for today. If you really like our sharings, particularly the big shortfall against a normal retirement life against what normal or average Malaysian have, do give us a thumbs up on the video and share it to your friends and family. And of course, turn on the notification bell button, as we would do similar videos like this, highlighting the shortfall or some concerns that normal Malaysians or Singaporeans might face, be it from a personal finance point of view or from an investment point of view. So we'll see you in the next video. Take care, and do leave some comments if you agree with our thoughts or if you have another perspective to the story of it. So we'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.